What I'd like to mention here is everything with Harry is contrived by the people who are driving him. Now, it's coincidental that it should happen and be published today, the very day that the king goes to Golders Green to meet the very people who were attacked a couple of weeks ago. Tell me that's not contrived.
That's unfortunate time.
Prince Harry published a geopolitical essay in the New Statesman on the exact same day King Charles traveled to Golders Green to meet the Jewish community attacked weeks earlier. That is not a coincidence. That is a calculated move. And the people closest to the palace know it. Hugo Vickers, one of the most respected royal authors in the world, said it plainly. Everything with Harry is contrived by the people driving him. And when you look at the timing, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Here is who we are dealing with. Prince Harry, once the beloved spare, the war hero, the people's prince, a man who walked away from the most powerful family on earth, moved to Malibu, and built an empire out of grievance. And King Charles, a monarch navigating a fragile political climate, a battered public image, and a genuine humanitarian visit to a community that had just been attacked. The contrast could not be sharper. But wait, because there is something about this essay that even Harry's supporters cannot explain away. The piece appeared in the New Statesman, a publication that sits left of center, not exactly neutral ground.
People or faith, he added. He touches on his own past mistakes, wearing a Nazi costume to a Halloween party, not really taking accountability, in my opinion. And also he blamed William and Catherine for that in Spare. So I don't know, very bizarre. Hugo, he wrote about his penis 14 times in Spare. If he wants to influence us on moisturizer, I'm all ears. But on geopolitical issues, I really don't have the time of day for this guy, and I don't believe for one second that he wrote this out of his own brain.
Harry addresses rising anti-Semitism in the UK. He references his own past mistake, wearing a Nazi costume to a party. But here is what he does not do. He does not take full accountability. In his memoir, Spare, he blamed William and Catherine for that very incident.
Were you going to mention the penis 14 times too?
No, I tend not to, but you did. We leave that to a lady. I think that no, I'm not sure that it didn't sound exactly like him. If I was his English master at school, I would be wondering whether perhaps he'd been cheating or not a little bit. You know, it didn't sound like him. But you know, listen, it's a valid point that he makes, but I don't necessarily think he's the right person to make it.
Dicky,
I agree with Hugo. I agree with Hugo on that one. And you also got to look at where it appeared. It appeared in the New Statesman, which is sort of more over to the left than it is center. So it's the sort of thing that would appear. But what doesn't appear?
Now he's using it as a credential for moral authority on geopolitics.
And he does talk about Gaza and the loss of life there. Why is there loss of life in Gaza? Wind the clock back a bit further. What happened in October, on the 7th of October in 2023? That is why what happened in Gaza, which is why what is happening in terms of anti-Semitism in the United Kingdom, and not just the UK, but it's a global issue at the moment. And Harry spouting out in the New Statesman is not going to solve the problem.
Dicky, that is exactly what
the problem is.
Former Royal Press Secretary Dicky Arbiter did not mince words. Working royals do not talk politics. Harry is not a working royal.
I felt like, because he's blaming Israel without blatantly say, I blame Israel. He's challenging Israel in here. And I feel like it's not an educated because Hugo is very nice to say he felt like he could agree with the message, but I almost disagree with the message. I feel like he's putting the blame on Israel, ignoring the fact that Starmer's government has an immigration issue. Am I just having a meltdown here, or am I making an
you're
okay
not having
point?
a meltdown. And the other thing is, and I'm sure Hugo will agree on this one, a couple of weeks ago, Harry said...
He is a prince by birth, but he gave up the role. And yet, he wants to speak with the weight of the crown while simultaneously dismantling it from across the Atlantic. Every time the royal family does something high profile, every time William, Catherine, or King Charles steps into the spotlight,
he is a working royal. He's not a working royal. He might be on the edge of royalty. He is a prince of the United Kingdom because that's how he was born. But working royals, and if you're a member of the royal family, you do not talk politics. This was political, and he shouldn't have put his name to it. But he obviously got a whack of money for it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done it.
Oh, wow. Do you think that could have been the situation, Hugo, or do you think he's just trying to rebrand himself because he did?
Something comes out of the Sussex camp. An essay, an interview, a statement. Hugo Vickers called it exactly what it is. Harry is behaving like a ventriloquist dummy. Someone is pulling the strings, and he is letting them.
He's unbrandable.
Yeah, I know.
Anything is possible, yeah.
Do you think that he is this whole I'm a working royal, I'm forcing this half in, half out? Is it about running out of options, or does he miss his old life, or is this just like a quick cash grab, perhaps?
I think it could be any or all of those things. I personally don't see him trying to become a working royal.
Now here is the part nobody is asking loudly enough. Who benefits from this timing? King Charles visits Golders Green, a deeply symbolic, emotionally charged engagement. And hours later, the headlines are split. Half the coverage goes to the king's visit. The other half floods to Harry's new Statesman essay. The moment is diluted. The king's message is undermined. Mission accomplished. Dicky Arbiter confirmed what the palace will never say publicly. Harry gets paid. That essay was not written out of passion. It was a transaction.
Of course, as I've said on many occasions in the past, it would be very counterproductive if he did, because the moment he appears on these shores, which he does with certain frequency, people immediately say, oh, William's doing this, Harry's doing that, and they compare the two, and it takes away from the important work that the royal family are doing. You know, he's in competition. This is this thing I was banging on about. The successful members of the royal family are the ones who support but do not compete. And he said...
And Hugo Vickers went further, suggesting Harry should be very careful about how far he pushes, because stripping a royal title is not unheard of.
I mean, that is really...
That's the way he operates.
That's disrespectful.
That's what he does. He does it whether it's to his father or to William or to Catherine. Every time that they're doing something that is high profile, Harry comes out with something, or Mrs. Sussex comes out with something. It's usually Harry. There are people manipulating. I mean, Harry is almost behaving like a ventriloquist dummy. That there are people pulling the strings, and he is letting them do that.
But here is the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to sit with. If they strip his title, Harry becomes the martyr he has always wanted to be. The victimhood narrative gets its greatest chapter yet. And the Sussex machine, whoever is truly operating it, wins again.
Hugo, when you see things like this, do you ask yourself why he still has a title?
Well, I don't actually ask myself that question, but I know why.
That's okay.
But I think he needs to be a bit careful, because we've seen how very easy it is for a monarch to remove a title. So I think he'd better be very careful, personally. I'd be very worried if I was him.
Dicky, do you think that he should be concerned about that, or do you think that that would just fall, that would allow him to continue with this victimhood narrative, and then he gets to continue to be the martyr?
Harry is always going to continue with the victimhood character. That he is doing it under the guise of being a prince of the United Kingdom is all wrong. He is either a prince of the United Kingdom or he isn't. But you can't do one thing and expect people to be bowing and kowtowing to you and calling you sir, which is what I think people do. They call him sir.